Hello everyone and welcome back to Elephino Open number 25. I am Elephino and I am still joined by my good friend Jump. How you been enjoying yourself so far?
I haven't gone anywhere quite yet, we still have one more set to go through, and I'm having a blast. I'm really excited to see how this matchup comes out because you have essentially two different kind of styles coming up. You have Satan, who essentially 3-0'd in his semifinal match, and you have Run, who made a very difficult, very hard comeback in doing with the reverse sweep, and so he's been battle tested. And so now it's his turn to kind of see what he's going to do against this essentially unstoppable force that we have coming out of Satan Curse You.
Sure. In case you're just joining us, this tournament is a 256-player single elimination tournament. All rounds are best of 5 conquest with a ban. So in conquest format, once you win with a class, it is locked out, and you have to win with all 3 of your eligible classes in order to take the match. So let's give you a brief rundown of what we covered in case you're just joining us this evening. So we started out with having the first semifinals match where we saw Satan Curse You take a 3-0 victory over T-Man 35. And then we saw Run, as Jump just pointed out, with a very impressive reverse sweep, giving him a 3-2 victory over the Ender, pushing both of those players over into the championship match, which will be coming up here extremely shortly. We'll do a quick shout out to strivewire.com if you're looking to get involved in some of the open Hearthstone tournament scene, whether you're in the Americas region or you play on the European region. You can check out strivewire.com, and they have all kinds of tournaments such as Elephino Open. All the series will be on there. And maybe get yourself some Hearthstone Championship Tour points, have a little bit of fun, make some friends. It's a really great website. Lots of great Hearthstone players compete on there, so you can run into some very high-level professionals on there pretty often. And if you're not quite ready for the open Hearthstone tournament scene yet, maybe you want to get a little bit more confidence before you compete against players in tournaments, or give you a little bit more confidence on success on ladder, you could also check out gamersensei.com. They're a cool, fairly new website that they offer esports coaching for a bunch of different games, to include Hearthstone. I'm not sure about all of the others. I won't list them because I don't want to forget any, but definitely if you want to get some Hearthstone coaching from professional players, you might want to check out Gamer Sensei and see if they can give you a leg up in your game. Lots of awesome coaches on there, professional players. Meet them, hang out with them, gain an edge in your game. So that's enough sellout for us here in the beginning. We will get ready to start the finals match of Elephino Open number 25 between Satan Curse You and Run. Jump, you want to give us a rundown of their lineups?
Yeah, so Satan Curse You is going to be running the Druid, the Warlock, and the Warrior with his Shaman band out. And then Run is going to be having the Hunter, the Shaman, and the Warlock with his Warrior band out. So nothing too different from what Run had in the last setup. Again, as well, nothing too different than what Satan had in his run through. So here is, again, one of the situations where you have to try to bring your strongest deck. In this Conquest format, getting yourself that first win is probably one of the most important things to do, because it gets you on a sense of momentum, it gets you in the right mindset, and it really forces your opponent to kind of change things up as far as what style they're going to go with coming into their next match. So with this, I want to see what Satan and Run decide to do with both of these as their first deck lineups.
Yeah, I believe the bands were the same as in their previous matches, so we're not going to get to see Run's Warrior at all, or Satan Curse You's Shaman at all this evening. So same decks you got to see, and we'll get to see how they come out. Both of them obviously victorious and very successful throughout the day. So we'll see which one can capitalize here at the very end and cap off a undefeated record for the day, is what I'm trying to say.
And so now, as we are finalizing these games, as both of these players are getting ready to set up for the first match, I'm going to ask the first question to you, Elephino. What do you think? We've already seen both of these teams play, or both of these players play. What do you think is going to be the first deck for both of these players?
Well, for Run, I believe he got wins with his Warlock first, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's what he goes back to. That seems to be his comfort pick. He wants to lock that out right off the bat. So I would expect Warlock first from Run, and for Satan Curse You, probably Warlock as well. I'm expecting to see a Warlock mirror match here right off the bat.
Yeah, we saw it. We saw the Warlock mirror match set up in the last go round for Run, so it's something that he's definitely keen to, and it's definitely something that he can handle. He did lose the Warlock mirror matchup in his semifinals match, but with a very good set of draws as well as some exquisite decision making in the later stages, he was able to pull out a win with that Warlock. Both of these players are running the Zoo, so again, it's going to be kind of that battle for board control and doing everything they can to build as much momentum in the earlier stages as possible.
Yeah, well, we are getting into game number 1 of the championship match, Elephino Open number 25. We got Satan Curse You on the top of your screen with Warlock, and Run on the bottom of your screen, also opening up in Warlock. So looks like they're both got some decent starts here.
Yeah, your prediction was correct. So it is going to be the Warlock mirror matchup, and they both do have some options to get onto something. Satan Curse You, though, does have the advantage of that coin, so he can double point out minions if he so chooses. As
nice
well as
pickup.
having... Oh, wow, yeah, that's a great pickup in the Flame Imp. So he's going to have the Flame Imp as well as potentially pointing out that Voidwalker as well. He also has the Abusive Sergeant to be able to deal with anything that comes out next. So this is a really good setup that Satan Curse You was able to draw into with that Flame Imp.
I like keeping the Voidwalker here, saving the coin for next turn. If you throw the Voidwalker out now, you use your coin for one thing, but you also give that slight little bit more value to Run and his Voidwalker, because Run knows that his Voidwalker is going to die next turn, so he would be able to take 1 damage off of your Voidwalker before you're able to kill it with your Flame Imp. So looks like he's going to go with the coin possessed villager.
Yeah, just to get more bodies onto it, because even if Run decides to trade into that Flame Imp, that's still going to be some kind of body. I like having as much body as possible on the board. You also have to worry about, the Abusive Sergeant as well if you kind of get into that. So it looks like Run is just going to force these extra trades coming out of Satan, but he's going to get punished by throwing down that Knife Juggler a little too early. Run trying to just get the bodies on the board himself, but that Abusive Sergeant from Satan going to prove things to be a disaster for that Knife Juggler. So no lucky juggles this game, this time around. Not yet, but he's going to be able to have a good amount of board control. Turn 3, Imp Gang Boss comes out of Run, and it's going to get immediately answered by that Direwolf Alpha.
Yeah, I'd like to change my answer, Jump. I believe Satan Curse You was absolutely correct. Playing down that second minion gave him 2 minions that were able to attack, cleared off the Voidwalker as well as the minion that Run played off. So thinking 1 step ahead, Satan Curse You was, and showing those the high skill level that both of these players have, anticipating that minion and being able to trade into it with the Abusive. So it puts him in a very commanding position right now.
Yep. And now that was a clunky turn that you had coming out of Run as well, because he didn't really have anything at his disposal. He's got a lot of burst, he's got a lot of utility with that Defender of Argus, but he doesn't really have anything else, so he was forced to tap into things. He does have the Imp Gang Boss now to throw down a body, but with that Bilefin Tidehunter coming out for Satan, this is a huge board that Satan has at his disposal. It's going to force the Soulfire out of Run, and wow, that's not the card. That's not the card that you want. We have seen...
Maybe it is in this situation.
It's rough.
Because that's your finisher, and you need your mid game right now. So maybe it's not the worst one to discard at this point of the game with the board state as it is.
Yeah, it's an option. It's kind of like you have 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other, and you're hoping one of them are going to hatch as many eggs as possible. But it ends up not hatching anything as continuous board control is being pushed onto the side by Satan Curse You, because now you have the Power Overwhelming coming out. You've got the Darkshire Councilman as well, and this board is just getting scarier and scarier. And without any real form of board clear coming out of Run, essentially you don't have any at this stage in the game. This is completely out of hand. It's essentially game over, because you have, what is that, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, a 9 with the Darkshire Councilman, and another with the Doom Guard. So this is going to be gain here for Satan Crusoe, going to be able to win this over Run.
Yeah, he had a chance to stop it with he could have taunted, but that's not really a winning play. It would have been a play to stall the game for one more turn, but he still wouldn't have been able to recover from that situation. So, really well played by Satan Kershew. He's going to take a quick 1-0 lead.
And just like that, we see how difficult it is for these players to come back once that zoo is able to get the control that it has. And all in all, great start by Satan. So holding to the strong start that he had in the semifinals, he's able to quickly dispel of that Warlock matchup. And so he now has that crossed off, doesn't have to worry about that. The Druid and the Warrior remain for him. So Run might potentially decide to go right back onto that Warlock. We saw him do that previously to at least try to get himself out a win. But going against that Warrior as well as that Druid, he did have the option to watch these matches. So he does have hopefully a more clear image on what Satan actually is running. So I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to get himself a favorable matchup against either one of these decks.
Yeah, and we're yet to see Satan Kershew lose here yet on stream. He's performing extremely well. He took a 3-0 victory in his first match, and he's up 1-0 here. So if Run's going to have to put a stop to that, obviously, if he wants to take home the championship. We'll see what they go with here in game number 2. You suggested probably a Warlock again from Run. I definitely agree with that, and we'll see what Satan Kershew comes out with right now.
It is going to be that Warlock. He's going to take it up against that Druid, and it is that Beast Druid coming out of Satan. So here's the big test of if Satan is going to be able to maintain that board control. We can see he's got 2 very solid setups. He's trying to decide which ones he wants to mulligan away. So we're not going to do some real setup on until we actually figure out what he is going to run. But there's still a lot of options because, again, if Run is able to have a solid setup, a solid start, big things can happen. But with the changes and with the standard format, you have a lot of these Zoom minions that actually end up having that 1 health, and so it is very susceptible to the swipe if Satan ends up being able to pull that out. But looking at the cards that you have from Satan right off of the bat, he has curved himself out very nicely with the cards in his hands.
Oh yeah, both of them have pretty good starts, but I would give the edge to Satan Kershew at first glance, just off the mulligan. I think he has a little bit stronger opening here. So it's going to be up to Run to negate that pressure and answer with his own. We'll see if he's able to do that here.
So he did double up with the saplings just to get as much pressure onto it. Again, he knows that he knows exactly what this is. And now with the Voidwalker coming out, it's going to put a little bit of a stop, but we can see you've got Mark of the Asari just ready in the waiting. He's not going to get the card draw from it, but if he does decide to throw this down, it will put quite a little bit of a stop onto that Voidwalker. I wouldn't be surprised if we see this actually, just because it does keep that board clear. Yes, you don't get the draw. You don't get that efficiency like what you're wanting, but you do get the full clear, or not the full clear, sorry. You do get the clear. You still have a 3-2 body, and you can trade these 1/1s into that Flame Amp to continue to try to maintain some sort of presence.
Yeah, I was like, Mark of Sarge coming up. I believe that's, I'm not sure I don't even know if anybody knows how to say that. That's just how I say it. But it's a very awkward word, Mark of Sarge. So yeah, he does get the full clear with the Innervate Hero power being picked up off the card draw. So huge for him.
And so now, because he's able to, because I love the decision to innervate out the Shapeshift, because it's all about that early board control. It's all about stopping the Zoolock in its tracks, so you can wait, you can get yourself up in the later stages and actually have those big healthy minions that you're going to see coming out of this Beast Druid. So looking and seeing exactly where we stand onto this, some decisions can be made by Run. He could either throw down that Voidwalker and then throw down the Forbidden Ritual after it, but instead he just wants to keep the 1/1s. He wants to try to keep as much pressure as possible. And so now, with turn 3, a little bit of an awkward sense. Mounted Raptor can come out, but it is going to be contested immediately because you have the three Icky Tentacles out there. So it's not as clean as what you would hope, but it is forcing Run to use those resources to clear off that board.
Yeah, I like holding back the Voidwalker here. There's no difference between a 1/1 and a 1/3. Looking down a 3 attack minion on your opponent's side, he would have just donated that as well. So I think that's what he was looking at here, but he was really hoping that one of those minions would stick around and he would have the Abusive to buff up, but he's going to be able to capitalize on that this turn, and that's a huge draw for him.
Yeah, it is indeed. So now with the Imp Gang boss to help hold down the fort, as well as that Abusive Sergeant to help clear things out, This is going to be a really good setup that Run finds himself in, is having that board control. But
I was gonna say trading into the death rattle first. I'm surprised.
the luck of the cards, and he's face palming. You mentioned that he is overseas and that it is very late for him right now. So the decision making on what the order to trade may not be at the forefront of his mind. However,
yeah, and the odds of that are just so small. I mean, odds are that doesn't matter, but here's the slight chance that it does, and a little bit of punish here on the on which one he attacked into first. So that's unfortunate for him. Yeah, he's going to have to hold those back. I mean, no reason to donate them in. Just force the attack out. But he is extremely vulnerable to swipe right now. Unfortunately for him, Satan Curse You does not have it.
It is the one card to rule them all, but we know that Satan Curse You does not have that in his hand. He does have the Violet Teacher, though, so he does have the 3/5 body. He does have that as an option. There isn't anything in Run's hand right now that can contest, but at least you have a solid setup by Satan to get something done. Now, you do have a really good draw here, turn 5 with a Defender of Argus, so you can at least taunt yourself up and create a better instance. You know that the swipe wasn't available. If it was, that would have been immediately used by Satan, so you're okay with throwing these out. It actually defends from a swipe coming out the next turn, because you do have the 2 health onto whatever, to either one of the technicals, or you can even throw down the Voidwalker onto it, but it looks like he just wants to conserve that.
Gotta clear the Violet Teacher.
Yeah, exactly. So he's going to throw down, going to be able to clear out the Violet Teacher. I really like this decision to be able to do so, because that Violet Teacher is something, especially with these Beast Druid decks having the amount of spells that they do, it's something that can essentially deter all your efforts, and so clearing that off the board, very smart decision here by Run.
Especially since he kind of sees that both players are slightly fizzling out. Obviously, he knows what he has, but he feels pretty good going for as much of a board clear as he can, looking at your opponent with just 2 cards, and now the swipe being picked up 1 turn too late. It's not terrible in this situation, but it's not as good as it was last game. So I wouldn't be too surprised, depending on what comes out of here, to see it come out though.
And so
Innervate's so huge.
Yeah, the Innervate's a very solid setup, but you still have the good clear on the swipe as well. So top decking the swipe, definitely going to help yourself out. You don't have any board, but with only 2 cards in the hand of Run, you're not too worried about it, especially because on turn 6 you can Innervate out that Ragnaros, and you know that it's very difficult to deal with, and I wouldn't be surprised if he Innervates this out. It's just going to make it so much easier, so much more difficult for Run to deal with, and we can see with the cards in his hands, the only way he can really clear is if he decides to Leroy Prior Overwhelm, which just destroys all of the burst that he has at his disposal.
Yeah, that's really. I think he's gonna. Well, he might not have to do it. He could. If not, he's gonna have to tap and try to flood the board with the minions and hope that the rag hits, favorably for Run. But probably the safer play is to clear it off. But how do you win if you clear it off? Your opponent still has 30 health. You've used all of a large chunk of your burst, and I guess he's just going to hope that Satan Curse You fizzles out, and that he can use his hero power to gain advantage on the board again.
Yeah, he's got the swipe as well for anything that Run decides to throw at him. I wouldn't necessarily think that he would use this. He can try to use it to kind of burst down some damage, but you do have to worry about any of the other swarm of minions that Run can do with, but instead he's going to say, nope, I just want to push for damage, my friend. So he's going to throw down the swipe. He's also going to hero power that Voidwalker, and now is where the pressure is on, because if this whelp stays up, that is going to be game the next turn if he's not able to contest it. And as you can see, outside of that Dark Iron Dwarf Argus, it's not really much else he can do, but he's going to have to be forced to do it here. So a really good setup by Run to just defend his face, get him some bodies out on the floor. That 5/5 is pretty solid. Just to be able to get something done. Oh, the lucky Starfire.
Let's
is
see.
It here?
I don't know. Nope, another Raven
He gets a
Idol.
Nourish though, so he gets card draw. He's in a pretty good spot. Instead, he just wants to do another Raven Idol. Raven Idol for a Raven Idol to get something. The Feral Rage. That's going to be good. That's going to be able to allow him to clear off and continue to put that pressure on. So not the end of the world if you're Satan. It's not the Starfire you were looking for, but at the same time, it's still something to help you clear off that 5/5 body.
Yeah, and that was huge, because that was gonna. If you allow the minions to stick around, and you could have let Run get back into that with that 7 chip damage for the foreseeable future, would have been very difficult. And
So
yeah, go ahead.
no, I mean now I like the decision of him to go for that Savage Roar, because it's just continuously pushing pressure, because he's now at 2 health, you put him in a situation where you can't life tap, and so now he's essentially just top decking everything, and without any kind of taunt as well, because Defender of Argus has been used, both the Voidwalkers have been thrown down, you can just continue to push advantage onto it, and with that, that's going to be Satan picking up win number 2, as Run says, you know what, I'm just going to die in style, flame him to the face, BMing yourself. And there we are, Satan continuing that oppressive maneuvering in the final 4 of the Elephino Open number 25, going up 2-0 here in the finals.
Yeah, very quickly. He's got that aggressive lineup, so we were expecting quick matches again. Win or lose with those aggressive decks, but it's been working out for Satan Curse You so far here with that aggressive lineup. Has gotten him this far, so hopefully see if he can finish it off here with the Warrior.
Yeah, the Warrior being the final one left, and this is crunch time. This is one of those moments where you say, wow, I mean, damn, Run, you've got a lot to do, but we've already seen him do this once, and so I wouldn't be surprised if he has the opportunity to pull this out. He's going right back with the Warlock, and 3rd time's a charm is what Run says, so he's going to have to go against this very aggressive Pirate Warrior that Satan pulls out, and if there's anybody that can do it, Run's definitely got the options to do so.
Yeah, and he has they both have pretty good starts again. Sea Giant a little bit clunky, but maybe a little bit less so with Forbidden Ritual. You can kind of sneak that out a lot earlier. And Satan Curse You with a little bit clunkier, though. He's going to have it's just slightly slower, but it is a little bit slower. So maybe that could be the edge that Run has in the early game to establish that pressure and keep it on. Oh,
yeah,
War Axe,
look
though.
at what he draws, though. Yeah. If there's anything that you wanted to draw in that situation with the turn 1 Flame Up coming out, it was going to be that FWA. So he pulls it out, gets the clear, and now is kind of a continuous of pressure, though, by Run, because he has a very solid curve. That Sea Giant is lurking in his hand as well as the Forbidden Ritual. So there could be a solid play onto that at some stage or another, but instead it looks like we're just going to see the Argent Horse Rider forcing a trade to get that Divine Shield off, and lots of burst, lots of potentials in the hands of Run, but at the same time, things aren't looking the worst if you're Satan, because he is going to be able to lay down a lot of damage with the cards that we see in his hand.
And here's that risk if he wants to go for the juggle, clear off that minion, if he wants to play a 1-drop or the Forbidden Ritual. So he misses the first juggle.
0 for 1.
0 for 1. See if the juggle come through again. Ooh, very unfortunate. That's a huge play. It may not look like much, but that's a huge play in this game. Allows him to clear off both of those 2 health minions and establish pretty much everything in his hand, whatever he wants to go for here.
Yeah, agreed. I like the Kokori, the Korkron, the Korkron Elite.
Sure.
He is going to just go right for face. There's no real reason not to. And it actually looks like Satan is deciding to go face as well. It's all about that damage. You can see the amount of resources that Run is going to have to provide to clear off of this, but a very good draw in the Defender of Argus, because when you're going against a deck that Satan is running that has a lot of face, that just desires to smork as much as possible, taunts are exactly what you need. And so being able to not only have that Defender of Argus still on the board as well, not only having that Imp Gang boss, but throwing the Defender of Argus on top of it and just creating more opportunities for more minions to pop on the board.
Yeah, and Satan Curse You giving a little bit of a tell to his opponent that he has another weapon in hand, because he held off on the Fiery War Axe swing up until that point, and then didn't find a minion he wanted to use it on and decided to use it on face that turn. So to me, that's a little bit of a tell that, hey, I've got another weapon on turn 5. It's probably going to be this Arcanite Reaper coming out whenever I want it to. So he isn't going to use it here because of the board pressure, I suppose. And the 1 health minions that he can clear off with the Rusky Hook. But I think that should be a tell to Run that he has a weapon in hand.
So now the Sea Giant's going to get popped down. Very easy turn 5 play there. There's really no reason not to. And believe it or not, Run is actually in a pretty formidable position, because if there's not a taunt, if there's not a way for Run to clear this, then that's actually going to be lethal here for Run, because just look at what he has at his disposal. You've got the perfect, the most optimal of burst in your hand, and with that, that's actually going to be game here. So Run,
yep, exact lethal.
Turning things around, exact lethal being put in his hand, power overwhelming. On top of that, Leroy Jenkins with both the Sea Giant, but is he going to make sure to calculate it? He's doing the math right now.
Oh, don't do it.
Does he not? Oh, wait, is it lethal? He's got 10, 18. No, he doesn't have lethal. Sorry, he's not able to throw the Abusive Sergeant down either.
Oh,
so
the mana. Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't have the mana. So it's just going to be a lot easier for him to clear,
sure.
hit face. He's not going to be able to tap, but he's still going to be able to pop it onto something. But he's just going to do as much damage as possible. Now, this is where things could get scary, because you do have the Mortal Strike in hand, so there's 11 damage. So Satan is 1 off lethal. So if he draws any other form of charge, if he draws any other form of face damage, then that's going to be it. And oh my god, the top deck is real.
He does have enough mana to do it.
So, oh my god, the well played comes out, and everything that was going and looking right for Run just throws him in a loop. And that's going to be Run going down 3-0, taking second place, but that's going to be Satan with a 6-game-in-a-row streak.
Impressive.
To lead him to the championship.
Yeah, Run 1 mana off that pesky mana limitations. If I had infinite mana every turn, I would win every game.
I mean, that's yeah, that's not incorrect logic. I'm not going to say you're wrong. I won't say you're right, but I'm not going to say you're
Especially
wrong.
with Warlock, I can tap into cards. I mean, just unstoppable. But yeah, unfortunately, 1 mana off lethal for him, and Satan, curse you, had enough mana to get the lethal over there, or on the backswing of that.
So he takes a lot of momentum in his favor, and the momentum was able to push him to a 3-0 semifinals win, a 3-0 finals win, and he's going to not only get a decent amount of money, or an admirable amount of money, but more importantly, he's going to get those points. That's what's more important about this tournament, about these open tournaments, is being able to get these points for potentially racking them up and actually doing something in the later part of the year.
Yeah, definitely. We'll go ahead and show the finalized bracket here, and we can give a rundown of the prizes that you were just talking about. So, 3rd and 4th place, which would be T-Man 35 and the Ender, both going home with 1 point in the Hearthstone Championship Tour for the summer season. Run going home with 2nd place. Very impressive finish for him, staying up all hours of the night, as we've mentioned a couple times, to earn those 2 points. So he'll be happy about that. And 1st place, Elephino Open 25th Anniversary Edition. Going to go home with 3 points in the Hearthstone Championship Tour. So the points you pointed out, very important, mostly because of if you're not familiar with how the points work, if you finish Legend for an entire month, which is a season of Hearthstone, you get 1 point if you finish outside of the top 100 for Legend. So that's an entire month of play. You can get the same amount of points by finishing 3rd or 4th place in one of these open tournaments, and you can get more points if you're able to take home 1st or 2nd. For just one day of Hearthstone versus an entire month, the grind to get to Legend, and if you finish outside top 100, same amount of points. So very impressive showing by all these players. So we will thank them for competing in the tournament. We'll do another quick shout out to Strivewire, strivewire.com. Check them out if you want to get involved in the open Hearthstone tournament scene and maybe compete in Elephino Open number 26. Which will be next Sunday. The tournament will start at 12 p.m. Central Daylight Time, and the stream portion will be at 6 p.m. Central Daylight Time, so the same time it was today. It will be streamed on my channel, which you can see under my name, as well as Firebat's channel, which is twitch.tv/Firebat, which you probably already know, because that's probably where you're watching. But he's a very awesome guy, Firebat. He allows me to cast this on, or stream this on his channel every week. So shout out to him. And shout out to Jump. Thank you for joining me once again this week. And Yeah, thank you for watching. Any closing comments, Jump?
No, I just want to congratulate Satan again for doing well as Run and the other competitors that did compete in the Open. These Open tournaments are great. Something I can't stress enough is that if you're looking to get your name out there, if you're looking to do something in the Hearthstone realm, especially with the competitive scene, these Open tournaments and collecting points where you can in a tournament setting, not just on the ladder, to kind of prove your ability to compete with these constructed decks in these more competitive settings. Definitely something that I would suggest getting into. You've got the Elephino Open. There are other options available as well. So getting yourself involved, getting yourself in these tournaments, if you're wanting to get out there, definitely the best way to do it.
Yeah, and if you're not quite ready, then once again, we got GamerSensei.com. Give you that edge and start competing in these open tournaments they got pro players. They can coach you through it if you're a little bit nervous, give you a little bit of that confidence. So that'll do it for us. Thanks to players for playing. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Jump, one more time. That'll do it for us. You guys have a good evening.